There's been sort of a debacle on the internet that just happened that I'm sure everyone will address. So we have to get to the bottom of this.
What did Rogan say now? Since the beginning of the show.
Which skin color emoji should you use? And NPR came out and they said the answer can be more complex than you think.
I know.
So what does that feel to you, knowing that you might have been doing it wrong out of the gate?
Well, I've been using the yellow one.
I've been using the pregnant black man.
Oh, okay. I've been using the yellow one, and apparently that's not acceptable because I'm Jewish. I should be using the green one.
Also,
I literally tweeted that yesterday because of the Whoopi Goldberg thing, and they go, "So which one should you use?" And I go, "Okay, which one did Jews use then?"
Yeah.
Jews use white, and then they're like, "But then Whoopi Goldberg thing."
Well, why would Jews use white?
Why would Jews use white? We're apparently not white.
Which
and
is
a lot of people in the comments on last week's episode, YouTube, Jews aren't white.
Yeah, so which is it? Yeah, what do you use?
I don't know.
You're right.
I guess we're just excluded from
The
this.
blue one for Israel, I guess.
There isn't a blue one. Do we? I don't know. Black, just in solidarity with our black friends.
Well,
because we're in solidarity with the true Israelites.
Yeah. The original
Plus,
Jews
we were the
black.
first slaves, and so
That would be good if Whoopi Goldberg right now went full black Israelite.
Oh my God, she's calling everybody on the View crackers.
She goes, "You gonna tell me what I can say about my people, cracker?"
The View is just broadcasting from a street corner in Times Square now.
She's handing out pamphlets. She goes, brother man, let me tell Whoopi Goldberg's calling you brother man as you walk by. Well, this is the conundrum of the millennial for millennials.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never even given it a moment of thought.
Yeah, that's your. They've said that about that. That's your privilege. They noted that. That is privileged of you to not have to give this thought.
Yeah,
I feel like black people only use the black fist. They use yellow for the thumbs up.
If I use the fist, I use the black fist.
You've gone black fist?
If I have to use a fist,
I know a lot of white people that go black fist.
No, I mean I very rarely ever use the fist. Period. But if I'm going to use the fist, it's the black fist.
You only do it when you're talking to the hooker.
It's like a switch hitter. You call one in when your girlfriend needs that extra.
No, it's just like those guys in the Olympics. I like those guys with the Black Panther gloves on.
Well, they've gone through and they said this girl, Heath Rosella, identifies as 3/4 white and 1/4 Filipino. So
he can use the yellow. It's the one drop policy.
And that's what you'd think, but this guy's having a conundrum and he's in his basement being like, what do I do? He said when texting, he chooses a yellow emoji instead of a skin tone option because he feels like it doesn't represent any specifically ethnicity or color. But he says, I present as very pale, very light skinned. And when I use the white emoji, I feel like I'm betraying the part of myself that's Filipino. So
imagine having enough time to think about that. Like imagine legitimately, maybe you should go to the beach and do yoga, buddy.
That might be a better use. Yeah. But that happens when you do go to the beach too much and do yoga. I think that's how you get into thinking about this garbage.
For sure. You start meditating and then you start thinking about skin color and
but do you think that
emoji use?
I want to apologize to the people in the Filipino community who feel like they've been betrayed, especially because
First of all, as an Italian, I feel betrayed by Filipinos putting hot dogs in spaghetti. So fuck them, all right?
Hot dogs and spaghetti sounds good.
Yeah, and then they put sugar on it too. That's
sugar on it. I don't really agree with, but the Filipinos where we grew up are kind of like hood dudes. But the idea,
Jersey City too, they are.
Yeah, and well, that's the thing. You don't want them betrayed, or else they show up. They got this guy in a garage. Like you betray the race. You're supposed to be a proud Filipino, and here I find out that your emoji use
yellow.
Yeah, so this guy's tortured. By the way, it is funny thinking about this kind of nonsense, and then in the context of hood Filipinos or whatever. But did you guys see that? Do you know who Crip Mac is?
No,
I just saw this on
the guy who's on No Jumper.
Yeah, he did Channel 5 and stuff too, right?
That fat guy has like the 55 on it.
Yeah, so he's this Crip.
Yeah,
and he's a Crip, and then they found out that he posted a video when he was 10 years old or whatever age, being like, I represent the Bloods or some other gang. And then they had this thing where in the gang community they say you go to get DP'd. Do you know what that is?
I
thought you were going to know that. Yeah, it's not. They have a new DP.
Okay.
So
I haven't hung out with a lot of gang members since I was 18.
Well, after spending about 20 minutes on YouTube, I'd consider myself an expert.
Okay.
Yeah. So they go, if what happens is it's disciplinary procedure.
Okay.
So they yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
No, you don't want to get disciplinary procedured if you're in the Crips, right?
No.
So what happens is you have to go back to your hood and then they all beat you up. And then he shows up and then they fucking kick the shit out of him. He's bloody black and blue. And then now he's back in the good books with the gang and he's posting these videos.
Because he's repping the blue.
Yeah.
And that's his whole identity.
Yeah, he
you
was
can't.
black and now he's black and blue. So it's like, all right, I'm
And it's
flagging
all
all the
because
time.
he just
now.
made a video when he was 10.
Because back in the day, before he was, official card-carrying member of the Crips,
Yeah,
he was saying
he was auditioning for the Bloods.
he was auditioning for. He was sort of putting it around. He was auditioning for multiple gangs, but that's so crazy that he had to basically show up back to the fucking hood. They just beat the shit out of him, blah blah, and like
It's probably way better
close
than
to-
not going back and taking that ass.
Well,
whooping.
apparently, according to my sources on the dark web,
Yeah.
a lot of the people don't want to take their DPs, so they just sort of skip town.
Yeah, they just go start a new life. And
They should have known that
Okay.
word was taken in the gang community, though, when they were saying, "Oh,
yeah, they are the people who do it the most. I mean, come on.
yeah, exactly, right."
Lil Wayne was DPing people when he was like 14.
It's hockey players and rappers is the two people that just
Oh, hockey players big on the DP?
fuck
Does
yeah.
it help with the balance for skating? Is that what it is?
Just like fucking frat bros,
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
it's
No,
not-
I mean any fucking super like guy centric thing that's
Yeah.
like a fun thing to do. I think,
you know, fun stuff.
but
Pounding claws, pounding puss, whatever.
yeah,
Whatever.
and they go. So the other person says, I use the brown one that matches me. Said an opera singer in Germany. So that's one way to go. You could use
What do
the
you
one
think
that
about this?
matches your
Why
skin.
can't Apple solve this? And because you know how you use your face to scan
Make
to
one
get
that
in your
looks like
phone,
your face,
just
yeah.
like no, they just instantly when they scan your phone, they scan your pigment, and then
That's
boom,
your
That's
thing.
your emoji, and you don't even get the other option.
It's not the worst idea.
It's like the paint sample thing at Home Depot.
Although,
Yes!
but it wouldn't work for this guy because once he got scanned, he would feel like he's betraying his community.
tough. Get a tan.
Wow, easy for you to say, white man. That you don't have to deal with the,
Dude, but then
things
you'd
like
have,
him.
you'd have people putting shoe polish on their face. People will be
I mean,
black.
if
Tan
you-
mom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
That's the one I got.
In fucking Miami, I saw a literal tan mom. It was a woman
Nice.
who was like darker than the darkest hot dog you've seen, but she was this French Canadian lady, and she just obviously goes. She goes to the beach every day, like a shift, like 9
Yeah.
a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, just like putting in a shift. And she was. I've never seen a color like darker than tan mom.
How'd she look?
Gross. She was
No,
like,
but aside from the gross pigment,
no, she was like 70 or something. She's
Okay.
Like, yeah. She was like a 70-year-old like lady. She
well,
was a-
maybe a job at Adidas coming up for her. Some of our titties are tanned to a burnt crisp leather.
They look like saddlebags.
Yeah.
she has cancer.
Well, I said I use the default emoji, the yellow tone for professional settings, and then I use the dark brown emoji for family and friends. So that's one way to go if you're listening. She says, I just don't have the emotional capacity to unpack race relations in the professional setting. So she doesn't want to use the black emoji at work because someone might go, what the fuck is this?
Who's using emojis at work? I still can't use emojis unironically.
Emojis at work is nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not like a professional thing to use.
Yeah, but I have girls do it, and then but she thinks that if she does use the one that does her skin color, people will be confused. They go, wait a second, why is everyone using the yellow? And then she's gonna have to be like, okay, so let me start. So it started in Africa, and she's gonna have to kind of explain racial relationships, and she's gonna have to.
How many times does she use the word exhausted? That's my favorite one.
They like saying
They
exhausted.
say, everyone goes, I'm so exhausted by this stuff. Are you really exhausted by
Yeah,
the
but
emojis?
the white bloggers are especially exhausted because they've been fighting for their people's rights to. The thing is, they don't even have a conclusion at the end of this because at the end of this, they're kind of like, and that's a decision that people have to make as to what emoji. They just want to say, just so you know, whatever decision you make as a white person, we're watching you.
We're watching you, and you better stay away from that pregnant man emoji. We know that you want to get in there.
The pregnant man, which is obviously everyone's like dunking on or whatever, is a pretty fun, like I'm full emoji.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a good emoji for being like, buddy, I ate so much today?
Free baby.
I got to shit so bad, but I can't. Pregnant man emoji.
I look
So
like-
constipated.
So that's the benefit of the pregnant emoji for it'll be good for I just ate too much.
How many people are using the pregnant man emoji not in a making fun of like way?
You are right though, because if
Like
you're
what? Like who's using that?
I guess the
not-
odd trans like dude or whatever,
who's also pregnant.
and then they're sending emojis
Like,
being
is
like,
there
this
any
me.
capacity where you're like not a pregnant trans man that you're using that to not make fun of it?
Yeah, well, that's who it's for.
All 20 of them?
Yeah, you see, Daniel, the idea here is about normalizing wacky things.
So then, yeah, I know, but then I mean, I'm sure this point's been made, but like, why isn't there a high five hand with missing one finger and then
The
missing
thing
another
is,
finger?
you're saying stuff like that. Like they'd be like, "Yeah, you're right. It's a little crazy." You would say that, and you'd be like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, somebody missing their ring finger is significantly more common than a pregnant man.
Right.
Exactly. Like someone missing a finger is way more
Someone
common
missing every finger but the shocker.
Yeah, but the shocker or whatever. You have
Or
to
just
do,
the one
I mean,
finger.
do you have to do literally every permutation of?
Well, but if you were
fingers.
saying this in the meeting, they would be like, you know what? I think we need to put a pin in this meeting and then let's think about that and come back. You're right.
Hire
That's,
like
that's how they
50
keep
new
themselves busy.
Developers and.
Yeah, that's how they keep themselves busy. And then they sort of say that some, they go, some white people stick with the yellow emoji because they don't want to assert their privilege. So that's some white people. And what they mean by that is them.
Yes.
So these people are kind of like, well, I use the white emoji just because I don't want to assert my, privilege of having an extra white emoji into this chat. And it's because almost like you're rubbing it in their face. Like, yeah, that's me. I'm white. Yeah, sorry.
What about it?
Yeah, you can't be white, right? So they're saying they don't do that because they think it'll make the black person feel comfortable. So there's sort of like a big you're welcome to the minority community.
Tough for the Asians in this one too, because you're like, do we use the yellow one?
Well, that's
the base.
it immediately gets
that's not for us technically. But then if it's like, I guess I'm white, but then that's triggering for other people.
Well, everyone says, it's because the Simpsons were yellow. It's like, well, yes, but they were white because they had black people on the Simpsons.
Yes.
And brown people. So it's like,
so that's still
yellow was just white because our skin is a sort of yellow.
All of the pale white people were Asian on The Simpsons.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
And then they said, one friend who is white told me that it is because he felt that white people were overrepresented in the space and he was using the emoji. So he didn't want to he wanted to try to even the playing field.
He wanted to decolonize the group chat.
Yeah. So in the group chat, he didn't, he wanted to decolonize it by sort of using the yellow. So these are the kind of things that heroes, so white heroes are out there, sort of.
That's all it takes to be a hero. You just have to hold the emoji button for an extra second.
Right.
And shift up, and then you're a hero.
Yeah.
And
We'll
which
clap for you at 7.
the moral of the moral is white people should use white or yellow, but black people should use whatever they want. I think that's the moral of the story.
Moral of the story is white people should kill themselves.
I think that's the moral of the story. But that real moral of the story is that anytime a white person uses a yellow emoji to not showcase their whiteness, they deserve a pat on the back.
Yes.
And I think that these people have been doing this in silence and no one's noticed the, extraordinary gains that they've made in terms of racial consciousness.
How far away do you think we are from when you go to you hold down the emoji and then the options come up? How far away from just it taking up the entire screen? Like it's just like you press it and it's just like the whole screen. You have like 80,
For one thing,
80 options. And you're
It's
just
like a swatch and fucking picking out carpets.
Totally, but it's just like the whole screen is just going to be like every different gradient.
Yeah, exactly.
Soon.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to those white people out there that are making the world safer with their emoji use.
It's a black fist. If you
Yeah. And I want to also say that I'm sorry that if you look white, but you are 1/19th Filipino and you feel like you're, sort of turning your back on your community by using the emoji that looks like your skin. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We hear you, brother man.
Or you could just, not use emojis.
Yeah, you can be an adult and type a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hear you, we see you, we feel you. Fellas, thank you for watching that clip. Now, if you want to support this podcast, an easy way to do it is patreon.com/theboyscast. There's a new episode every week, only 5 bones, and we got tons of episodes there already. So support the dogs.
Support the dogs. I've been Bowen Yang.